Hello, my beautiful vloggers. It's your girl Shay, and I am here to bring you the power episode. It's done, is what it's called. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get right into it because the episode was insane. I loved every single minute of it. I hope y'all did too. It was craziness. Okay, so let's begin because it started with Ghost dropping by Silver's house. And while Ghost is there, he's walking in and he steps on an earring, and lo and behold, it's Tasha's earring. But Ghost doesn't know. Ghost doesn't know that his wife is sleeping with his attorney. So that right there is like messy, and I love every minute of it because Ghost has been screwing Tasha over for the longest. So now, you know what I'm saying? In a minute, he about to know what it feels like because I'm sure they're not going to let this season end without him finding out, or maybe next season he'll find out. But whatever happens, I love that Tasha is about to get a man who actually appreciates her and loves her for who she is and actually takes care of home and does all of that stuff. So that's going to be a good little moment because, when Ghost found the earring, he like, oh, you got you a little lady or whatever. He's like, nah, Silver like, no, I don't have a lady, it's mostly a gray area, it's complicated, whatever. So Ghost has no idea that it's Tasha's earring. He has no idea that his wife is sleeping with his lawyer. And, he just stops by really to ask, like, do you think that Proctor is about to implicate us in something or whatever? And Silver's like, no, if I thought that, I would have, I'd look into it. But I don't think none of that is about to happen. Right now, Ghost is a little paranoid, I think, because of the simple fact that Proctor knows everything as far as Tommy murdering that Homeland Security agent and everything. So now Ghost is trying to tie up loose ends because he can be caught in the middle of some stuff and he just now getting out or whatever. So then Ghost leaves and he goes to confront Proctor himself about the whole situation because last episode we actually seen when Ghost stopped by Proctor's house, Mock was there. But Mock was asking Proctor like, hey, what's going on? Because, this Homeland Security agent, his phone was bouncing off your cell phone tower. He was, the last call he made, one of the last calls he made was to your residence. So, now Ghost has to figure out like what's going on. Plus, you have the tape of Tommy killing Ruiz, and you have the body of the Homeland Security agent. So I don't know what you're gonna do with that. Proctor is like, no, I destroy all of that evidence because if y'all go down, I go down with y'all, blah blah blah. I don't know if I trust that, but that's what Proctor was saying. But what else would he say? He's not about to be like, oh yeah, I kept all of that as evidence against y'all. So, he tells them what, he tells Ghost what he thinks they want to hear or whatever, but it's definitely about to be more to this story. And then we see Donovan, Saxe, and Angie, and, they know that Sandoval went to Donovan's home. So now it's a mess because remember, Sandoval had told Donovan's daughter, like, don't tell your dad I stopped by. But she did tell him. And now they like, okay, did he stop by to kill Donovan the same way he killed Greg Knox? Because he didn't know that Donovan's kids was going to be there that day. So now it's looking a little fishy, like Sandoval was up to something and, he was going to stop by Donovan's house and murder him. But we do know he was coming to kill him because in the last episode, he was walking through the hallway of Donovan's apartment with a gun in his hand. So he definitely came to kill him the same way he killed Greg Knox. But what, made it difficult to do was because number one, Donovan wasn't home. And number two, Donovan's daughter was there. So there was that. And then Angie was making it known that she thinks that Sandoval is the mole because Sandoval is on that video hiding a gun, but more than that, she has a burner phone, and the burner phone that was somebody who was contacting the Lobos and all of this stuff, this phone traces back to a federal agent, and she's wondering if it could trace back to Mike or whatever, Mike Sandoval and all of that stuff. So, that is one thing. And then on top of that, Sandoval stopped Saxe on the street to talk to him like, hey, I'm not guilty, this, and that. I want to know some more information. We got to make sure we make Donovan look guilty. Like, he's not letting on to Saxe that he is the mole, but he's making sure that Saxe knows he wants Donovan to be made to look like the mole. So It's really something fishy, and I think that they finally catch it on. I'm like, finally, because Sandoval is so damn shady. He is up to so much stuff. Finally, but they about to figure out that his ass is the one that's been setting up everything. So I'm super excited about that because I've been waiting to see when they was gonna finally find this shit out. So moving on to Lorenz Tate's sexy self. You know, he's in the episode. I wish he had been coming onto the season earlier. You know, I wish they had him, you know, earlier on in the season. But Lorenz Tate is on the show, guest starring, I guess you would say. And he's playing a councilman from Queens who is trying to get an after-school program. I think it's called Queens Kids or Queens Children or something like that. But it's some kind of after-school program to help the underprivileged youth in Queens, New York. And he wants Ghost's help because, you know, Ghost is now partnered up in this real estate thing with Simon Stern. But Simon doesn't want him to get into business with Lorenz Tate's character. He wants Ghost to do all his business in Manhattan because obviously he wants him to do all his business with the rich white people. He don't want him to be, you know, working with poor black folks. So, you know, Simon Stern wants him to stay in that neighborhood versus helping those who actually are in need. But it seems like Ghost is really into the idea because of the simple fact that Ghost is from Queens. But at the same time, when Lorenz Tate's character walks away, Ghost stops Dre like, dude, why didn't you tell me what was up? Why didn't you tell me what he wanted? Like, you don't have me come down here and just be surprised. And then that's when Dre was like, oh, I thought you would think it was a good idea, blah, blah, blah. But it does seem like, you know, they're going to go ahead and get this together. They're going to do it. Simon is going to be pissed, but they're going to do this after school program. It's going to benefit a lot of kids in Queens. I think that's a great idea. At least with this show, they're showing something positive, not just all murder. They actually doing something good. So I thought that was a cute little moment. I was happy to see that, but more than that, I was happy to see Lorenz Tate. Okay, so moving on, then we have Tommy. You know, Tommy, his mom, that whole situation. He's asking about Therese and all of this stuff. She's saying it's not true. She never was with Therese. His father was a man she met in Atlantic City, which is the same story that Therese told, that she was a dancer at the Tropicana. That's the same story that Therese told, but she is claiming that Tommy's father died. But Tommy is like, yeah, okay. So Tommy drops by Therese's home where, you know, Therese is in prison, but his sick wife still lives there. And she has cancer. And I believe she's like in stage 3, stage 4, because they looking for other treatments for her and stuff. And so Tommy claims he came to see one of Therese's friends. But while she's in the kitchen making him a drink, he's going through photo albums and he finds a picture. And then he leaves with the picture, you know, after talking to her, because the woman, Therese's wife, was trying to get some information out of Tommy. He wasn't really telling her too much, but she definitely was trying to get some information out of him, trying to see what he knew. She was asking him a lot of questions about his mother. So I think she knows something is up, and I think that she knows that Tommy might be Therese's son, because she kept asking questions like, what's your mother's name? I bet she has a cute Irish name and all of this stuff. So she knows something is up. She not stupid. But at the same time, I think that what's really weird is that, you know, we don't know how long Therese and his wife been together, because she may really want to know, because it could be a case of you cheated on me and you got another woman pregnant and Tommy is your illegitimate son. So we don't know how long him and his wife been together. So Tommy's mom could technically be, you know, the mistress or something. And she could have, that might be why she's so concerned with who Tommy is. That maybe Tommy is an illegitimate kid and me and you done been together all this time and you done tell me you had a son because you had a son while we was together. So who knows? Because this story always takes twists and turns. So it could be that the reason why she cares so much is because Kate, Tommy's mom, could have been the mistress. I'm just saying. So that would make sense to me of why she would care so much. That's what it's looking like, okay? So anyway, you know, Tommy gets the picture or whatever. He leaves. He goes back to see his mother, and now he calling his mama out on her lies because he shows her the picture like, this is him in front of our house and he holding me while I was a baby. So tell me what's really good. And then finally the mother admits it and she's like, oh, you know, he was around and then he took that picture with you and he said he was going to be gone for 30 minutes and he never came back. But she already lied before, so I don't know if she believes it. I think that what it really boils down to is probably they had an agreement that she didn't want him raising the baby, and then she didn't let him see his son because when she went to go visit Tarazi at the prison, she basically like, leave my kid alone, yo, no problems with me, blah, blah, blah. He like, don't threaten me, whatever. But she had said something like we had an agreement or whatever. So it don't sound like he just up and left you. It sounds like you didn't want him around and you told him that much and he went about his business. It sounds like, y'all came to the conclusion that you didn't want him in your child's life and he left, but you still lying to Tommy. And at some point, I don't know why she keep lying. Tommy's gonna figure it out in the first damn place. Like, I don't get what the point of continuing to lie is. If Tommy was able to figure out that's his dad, he gonna be able to figure out that you're lying too. I mean, what's the big deal? Just tell the truth now and get it over with. Well, anyway, nobody on this show keep it real. So, then we have Ghost. He trying to talk Tommy out of this war with the Hernandez, whatever these brother and sister are, the crazy Mexicans who out here murdering people and took over for Lobos. Yeah, what they took over after Lobos was murdered, should I say. Tommy wants to go to war with them because of the death of Julio. Tommy ain't even like Julio like that, let's be real. But anyway, because of the death of Julio and because of the fact that they killed Lobos, Ghost and Tommy killed Lobos, but this brother and sister been trying to take credit for it or whatever and all that stuff. But if I'm not mistaken, didn't Tommy and Ghost throw that Mexican car on Lobo's body to make it seem like somebody else did it besides them? If I'm not mistaken, they did that. But anyway, so they want to make sure that they get their just due. Tommy like, we want our money, whatever. So Ghost and Tommy go to see them and basically like, you know what, listen, we need to talk. They set up a meeting or whatever. So basically in the meeting, Ghost is letting it be known like, listen, we the ones that really did the dirty work. Y'all didn't do shit. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to put everything together. Y'all basically benefited from our work. And if y'all don't give us the cut that we want, we are going to go and let everybody know that y'all are fraudulent, that y'all didn't really kill Lobos. Y'all just took credit for it. And y'all not going to have the respect that y'all once had. So now, they happen to rethink everything. The brother, he did pull a gun or whatever. The sister told him, like, put that shit away. When he had time for that. So it looked like, they backed into a corner right now. But whenever you back some drug dealers into a corner, it never goes well. So we're going to see how that goes. But right now, they backed into a corner. So they may be more liable to go with what Ghost and Tommy want. Because Ghost and Tommy basically letting it be known. We're going to let everybody know that y'all not the ones who murdered Lobos. And the sister was really smart because she was like, well, y'all going to admit that y'all did it and go back to prison or whatever. But he was like, we got ways of people letting it be known that it wasn't y'all that did the murder without us being implicated or some shit like that. So now the brother and sister, they got to come up with some kind of plan because it looked like if they don't get it together, everybody gonna know that they really didn't do that crime. So that was that. Then we move back on to Saxe because Saxe is having a conversation with Sandoval. This is when it gets good, ladies and gentlemen. This is when the episode gets good. Okay, because Saxe is having a conversation with Sandoval, okay? And they talking about Angela. And Saxe is telling Sandoval, listen, Angela knows that you planted the gun. She knows everything is up. She don't trust you. She's going to have a conversation with Mac about all this information that she knows. And you about to be implicated in the murder of Greg Knox. And it's looking like you might be implicated in this whole Lobo situation as well. So, Sandoval like, no, it's not true, blah, 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 blah. Then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, Sandoval got to get up and leave early. I'm like, I already know this. He about to go try to kill Angela like he did Greg Knox. But see, the thing is that when a cop come and talk to you and give you some information like that, and you already suspected of committing crimes, you should be very careful of what you do because he know that you're a murderer. So he just set you up to go see if you about to murder somebody else. I was watching that like Sandoval don't know he being set up right now. Like, dude, they know you're a murderer. They know you about to show up to this woman's house. Sure enough, his ass come knocking on her damn door and, want to have a conversation with her. And they sitting down talking or whatever Well, he's sitting down, and then they basically having this conversation, and she letting them know, like, I think you guilty. I think you did it all. I think that you was working with Lobos. Maybe he was threatening you. Maybe he was bribing you or something like that. Maybe he threatened your family. I think that Greg figured out everything that was going on. He saw the evidence. He saw the writing on the wall. He confronted you about it, and you killed him. And she was right, because that is what happened. And, Sandoval, long story short, didn't appreciate it. So he stands up and pulls his pistol like, I'm about to kill you. Now, mind you, the whole time, the cops is sitting downstairs listening in the van to everything that's going on. Now, my question is this. If y'all know he's a murderer and he's done this before, why wouldn't y'all be hiding in a closet or in the back room or in the bathroom or in the kitchen or something? Like, why would y'all be 3 flights of stairs down when you know the man is a murderer? Like, I don't get that. I mean, I understand that y'all didn't want him to suspect anything, but you should have had at least one cop in that apartment with her. Everybody shouldn't have been downstairs listening. Somebody should have been upstairs in the room or in a closet, something like that, or whatever, because he's already unpredictable. He's already gonna do anything to save his own ass. Why would you give him the opportunity to murder this woman or whatever? So, like I said, he pulls the gun and he points it at her. Then he tells her to turn around. He gonna shoot her in the back and say it's self-defense. And she like, how is it self-defense if you shoot me in the back? Like, clearly that's not gonna be self-defense. And then when she turns around, she pulls her own weapon. She also unplugged her wire. Now, I don't know why she did that, because she was trying to say, act like you're a witness or something like that after she shot him. She turned around with her gun and she shot him. They couldn't hear anything else that was going on in the wire because she had unplugged her wire. Now, I don't understand why she did that. Maybe that'll come out later why she unplugged her wire. But she kept telling him to say he was a witness or some shit like that. It didn't really make sense to me, but that's what she did. And anyway, so she shot him in the shoulder, I think. And then they came up, they arrested him, whatever. And that was that. So then when they get him down to the police station and they start interrogating him, he talked about he want immunity, because if they don't give him immunity, he gonna make everybody look bad. He gonna make Mock look bad. He gonna make Mock look like, he was in on everything and that he covered up everything. He said that he was going to make everybody look bad by basically coming out and what did he say he was going to do? He was going to come out and basically say that he had information from Lobos or other criminals and stuff like that to call into question all of his 100 convictions. So basically he was going to make it look like all of his 100 convictions that he's had over the course of his career were in question, and that the appeals court was going to have to handle all of these convictions because he was shady, and that he was going to make it seem like all of these convictions came from him doing dirty work or something like that. So either you're going to give me immunity so I don't have to go to prison, or I'm going to make it look like every single conviction that I ever got, I did something shady in order to get it. So Mock was like, damn, I have to think about it, because now Mock is in a position where his whole career, he would basically be flushed down the drain, because he would spend the rest of his career trying to fight all of those Sandoval cases, trying to prove which ones were legitimate trials and found guilty legitimately, and which ones were set up by Sandoval and maybe some other people and did some shady business dealings and all of this shit. So Sandoval is basically working really hard to get his own immunity. This motherfucker is fake, okay? Then we got the whole situation. Angie, she finally tells Silver that Ghost is innocent, and she tells him to go ahead and tell Proctor as well. Silver tells Tasha and Ghost at their home. He returns Tasha's earring, and they look cute together. I really would like to see them together. I think they're adorable together. I am here for it. I like it. I'm like, they would make a cute couple. That would be a cute relationship. I am totally here for it. Then we have to get into the story, because Tariq dumb ass still ain't learned shit. Tariq is out here still moving like a criminal. Tariq, you are not a murderer. Stop pretending like you are. This is not who you are. This is not what you're about. Tariq is a damn fool. So Tariq, basically um calls up, I guess, some people who was cool with Kanan, and is telling them like, hey, I want to get back into that life or whatever. So now they got him setting up people. He pretended he on a swim team of his school. He going around selling candy, and then when he realized that nobody was at home with the person, he gets into the house and he gonna help them rob or whatever. But when he was supposed to leave and run out the door, instead, he goes upstairs and he sees one of the men trying to rape the woman. He yells the guy's name and says, get him off of her. And then the guy was like, that was a stupid decision. So then he has to shoot the woman because now the woman knows their names. Because they took their ski mask off and everything. Because the minute you say their names, that's it. So they have to shoot her because now she's a witness and she know their names. So in the process of them shooting her, Tariq takes off running. He leaves. They get to calling his phone and all of that stuff. I'm like, I hope he ain't dumb enough to answer that phone because he is kind of stupid. So I don't know. He might be stupid enough to answer the damn phone. Who knows? But he didn't. So, he took off running, but they definitely was calling his phone. So I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. Is Tariq going to come up dead in the next couple episodes or whatever? Or is he going to tell his father what he into? He better tell his father what he into, because it's only a matter of time before they catch him out and about. Kanan already know what school he go to because Kanan used to pick him up from school. So it takes nothing for them to find out where he is. They know where you live. They know what school you go to. You better tell your father what kind of shit you mixed up in. Otherwise, your ass gonna come up missing, you fucking genius. Okay? Tariq is dumb. God, he is dumb. Like, oh, I was kind of scared. I ain't gonna lie. My heart was beating kind of hard. Like, I didn't want to see him get murdered by them boys. But at the same time, like, he got to be a whole other level of stupid. Like, he's just stupid. I wouldn't be surprised if he don't make it to the season finale. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he come up dead in the next couple episodes. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But then again, I heard these episodes leaked, so some of y'all might have seen it and y'all know whether or not he came up dead. I don't know, but I didn't watch the whole season that's online, but some of y'all might have. Anyway, moving on. So last but not least, the part of the episode that really had me was Proctor and Ghost and Tommy are having a conversation about Sandoval. And the fact that Sandoval knows all of this stuff. And the fact that Sandoval could, flip on all of them, tell everybody that James is the real ghost and that Tommy has been working with him and all of this stuff. So they had your plan to kill him. So then Tommy makes the call to Therese to kill him. Therese like, I could get it done. Long story short, they send a man into the room. I guess he was Sandoval might have been in there. They was probably checking out his gunshot wound or something like that. He was like in the doctor's office, but inside the prison. And they walk in. It's a guy come in a lab coat, look like a doctor, pulls out a shank, the one that looked like a toothbrush, and slit his throat. I was like, damn. He was gone. He was gone. He was gone. That was it. The man is out of here. Sad to say, well, I'm not really sad to say it because I'm glad he got caught. I would have liked to see him on the stand. And what else kind of information he knew. Mock was really upset because Mock was like, all the information he had died with him, which is true. But at the same time, the man, I couldn't stand his ass. I'm not sad to see him go. And the way he died, it was kind of sweet. That was kind of a sweet ass death scene. The way they, slit his throat or whatever. It was kind of a sweet ass death scene, I must say. So I was like, damn, this is crazy. But when he slit his throat, it was just so gangster the way he did it. It was like it was just, and then he just turned around and walked back out. And they not gonna be able to figure out who killed him. I mean, maybe they can. I'm sure that in the federal building, maybe they have cameras somewhere, but even if they figure out who did it, he ain't about to snitch. So they gonna have to figure out some kind of connections. I don't know, but the Sandoval's death scene was kind of sweet. I kept hearing people who saw the episode early who was saying somebody died. I thought that the death was Tariq, but turned out it was Sandoval. Okay, that was kind of a good one. It was something to talk about. So anyway, also Dre meets up with the Jimenez brother and sister, and he basically is offering up Tommy's organization. So we know that Tommy and Ghost are the two main characters, okay? And the show would not be the same without Tommy and Ghost. Therefore, Dre is going to end up dead soon. You cannot scheme on either Tommy or Dre and live to tell about it unless you're Kanan. And the only reason why Kanan is still alive is because his character is really 50 Cent, who was an executive producer. The rest of y'all are easily murdered and pushed to the side. So Dre, I already said that Dre was up next. Y'all know in my last review, I said that, Tommy was getting sick of Julio, and then Julio came up dead. I mean, Tommy didn't kill Julio, but Julio still came up dead. Now they kind of getting sick of Dre. And Dre about to come up dead because now he may live long enough to do some shady stuff, but they could make it so that Dre becomes a power player on his own, and maybe he launches his own organization, because he said he wanted to be the biggest drug dealer in New York. So it could be like he launches his own organization and ends up at war with Tommy, because Ghost don't really want to be in that life no more, but Tommy do. So he could end up in a war with Tommy for the organization. Now that would be sweet. Don't just kill him, let him go out with a bang, you know what I'm saying? But so that was good. And then the last thing we see is Proctor putting the computer in the safety deposit box. And I'm like, okay, so the minute that Ghost started talking about, he may keep the computer, he may keep everything, he could use it as evidence against us later and all of this stuff, I was like, you know what? He definitely got a point. And I think that that Proctor is keeping this as his reassurance, because now Proctor is implicated no matter what happens, because Proctor now knows that Sandoval was murdered by Tariq, because he was there when they hatched the plan. So either way it goes, Proctor is at the very least an accomplice. But with that computer, Proctor could probably get immunity, and he knows that. So Proctor ass gonna come up dead too. But is it going to be before or after he turns that computer over to the authorities? Now, Proctor is the cautionary tale of an attorney who gets in too deep with his client. So now he has drugged himself into this shit. I don't feel bad for Proctor at all, because you as a lawyer, you could have stayed on the up and up, but you chose not to. You chose to get involved with clients who could pull you down into that lifestyle because you like the money or the power or whatever it is that you liked. But whatever the case may be, you are swimming in the underworld. I don't feel bad for him, because you walked yourself into a situation where, now you dealing with some serious power players. So, that's what happened. It was a really good episode. I'm excited to see when Dre gets killed off, because it's coming. You cannot go against Tommy and live to tell about it. I'm excited to see when Proctor gets killed off, because it's coming. You cannot hold on to that damn video and think that nobody is going to come for you and all of that. So this was good. Sandoval's death scene was good. I can't wait to see what happens when they start investigating who killed him. Angela bent over his body and basically told him like that was for Greg Knox. So basically she told him in so many words, that was your payback. So, she don't feel bad for him. I don't either. But anyway, it was a good episode. I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with Tariq going forward. Is he going to tell his father about these dudes, or are they going to come pick his ass up? Anything could happen. So I'm definitely excited to see that. And I will talk to you guys next week. Power was so good. I hope you enjoyed it. Love you guys. Bye.